You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Guys, I just got to ask you guys tonight, Royal Rumble, Raw, we're going to get into Raw. Royal Rumble is, outside of WrestleMania, the biggest pay-per-view of the year. Pretty much anyone you ask will tell you the Royal Rumble is their favorite pay-per-view of the year. I'm going to start with the legend of Raw Reaction, Killer Kev. Killer Kev, what did you think of the Royal Rumble itself, the match itself? Dying to know what you guys think.
Killer Kev?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were throwing to me first.
Yep.
You know what? Age before beauty. You are a legend on this network. We want to know your opinion.
Hey.
Everybody wants to know what you think. They don't want to know what we think. They're like, you know what? These two jabronis, they want to know what you think.
You know, I appreciate, first of all, you saying age before beauty, but let's get something straight. I am also a very beautiful person. As a matter of fact, I was just in Nashville, Tennessee this weekend, and let me tell you, I was surrounded by gorgeous women, and none of them had a problem coming up with Killer Kevin and talking to him for a few minutes.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they talk to Killer Kev?
As a matter of fact, one of them even hit on me, and when I had to turn them down, as I was walking away, I heard him say, the last decent man in this building is walking away from me and just turned me down.
Killer Kev.
How about that?
I'm not surprised. There's a lot more to you than that silky smooth radio voice. I know this. And so do the ladies out there.
Indeed.
Well,
so anyway,
it.
So my thoughts specifically on the Royal Rumble match?
Yeah, we'd like to know.
It was okay. It wasn't the best Royal Rumble. It wasn't the worst Royal Rumble. In a way, I like a lot of the setup that they did. You definitely see how we're going to have more Goldberg versus Lesnar. You're going to see how we're going to have Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. You know, you may even get a little bit of Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. That would be interesting to really go with. But one thing that really disappointed me out of this Rumble is just the fact that a lot of the big guys just went out so quickly. You know, I was hoping to see a little bit of more of a battle between Strowman and Baron Corbin, but that didn't last long. Big Show wasn't in there for about a minute. Mark Henry wasn't in there for a minute. Rusev lasted a while, but he never got into any scraps with any of the big guys. He was constantly tied up on the ropes with, who was it? Sami Zayn kept trying to dump him over. You know, I mean, so many big guys. Apollo Crews, in and out. You know, just all these big talented guys just in and out there so quickly. And something else that kind of disappoints me too. Chris Jericho was just 2 minutes away from setting the Royal Rumble record for longest competitor in a match. He was about ready to upset Rey Mysterio, and they didn't let him last long enough to dump it out. Come on, this pay-per-view ended at 20 minutes to 11. They had 20 more minutes they could have worked with. You could have given Jericho 3. You know, and I'm not a big fan of Jericho these days. I'm totally not into his gimmick, you know, with his stupid haircut and his stupid scarf and his stupid list. You know, I don't care for it at all. It could go away tomorrow and it wouldn't hurt my feelings. But damn it, Jericho was onto something there. He should have had that record.
I agree with you. The 61-minute man should have won it.
But that said, I'm happy with the Royal Rumble. I'm not upset that Randy Orton won. As a matter of fact, because of Randy Orton, for the first time ever, I have won the Angry Marks Royal Rumble pool.
Wow. How about that?
So yeah, I'm hyped. But because I am a staff member of Angry Marks, I am not keeping that prize. That is going to one of our listeners that Peter H. will be contacting here in the near future and arranging to send the prize to.
What exactly is the prize?
We didn't reveal what the prize was, so I don't know myself, since Peter H. arranges the prize, so.
You came full circle there. You not taking the prize goes back to what that young chippy that hit on you said. There goes the last good man in this building leaving. You know what? Not surprised. Now, I agree with what you just said about the big men in the ring. So I'll direct this to Vic. I couldn't agree more with your synopsis of the big men piece. I do think Jericho should have got the record as well. I'll give you guys my thoughts in a minute. But Vic, I want to ask you a question because I know how hyped up you were about Goldberg, Undertaker, Big Show, all the big dogs in this, Brock Lesnar. You can have Randy Orton win anyway. But why do you think WWE didn't save all the big dogs to the end and really didn't have them interact as much as they could? What do you think? What did you make of that, Vic?
Well, Angry Tensai, before I get started, I would be amiss if I did not wish a happy birthday to a very special young man today. None other than, or belated happy birthday, actually. His birthday was yesterday. A very special happy birthday to Michael Santaramo.
Oh, wow. That's very nice.
Yes. I saw he's doing what the big boss man calls some hard times, but appreciate him and look forward to seeing him when he gets released sometime in the next 3 or 4 years.
Nothing wrong with prison.
No, absolutely. I mean, you know what? It's that society.
He is and when he's out, Vic, it's over. He did what he needed to do. You're not to judge him anymore. Once he's out, he's out.
Exactly. So anyway, as I was saying before that, you know what? I like the pay-per-view. I love the pay-per-view as a whole. I like the Royal Rumble match. I like it more after last night. Now that we're seeing a little bit more of where they're going with some of these feuds and why they pulled Seth Rollins out and what exactly they're doing there. Obviously, Lesnar, Goldberg, that's not necessarily a surprise, but how they got to it, again, it was a little bit of a poor Lesnar. I mean, he's somebody who doesn't get beat often, and he's getting beat by Goldberg. I guess my biggest thing with this that I did not like was when you look at, say, you're like entrant number 26, you basically have Undertaker not in yet, Goldberg not in yet, Lesnar not in yet, what ended up being Reigns not in yet. I mean, basically they saved all of the talent, or all some of the bigger name talents, 40 plus bigger name talents, till right at the end, and brought them in the last 10, 15 minutes of the match. Obviously, it helped build up their arrival and the influence of their impact, but I did not like how it was so loaded. I mean, how hard would it be to have The Undertaker come in at wrestler number 22 or Goldberg come in at like 18, like that, just to make it seem like a little bit more not than it actually is.
So well said, Vic, because I was thinking the same thing at the end. I was just kind of like, well, what are the odds of the 3 biggest people in the Royal Rumble getting 27, 28, 29? It was, I love the participants. I love the premise of the match. I mean, it was like they built this thing up huge. I just think it was booked off. I mean, okay, you know, I'll tell you what I liked. I loved, like Kevin, and I don't know if he said this on air. I think he alluded to it. He didn't actually say it, but I know he said it off air. Baron Corbin eliminating Braun Strowman was awesome. I didn't expect it. The heel-on-heel crime was super cool. And I mean, he just decked him. I mean, that was it. He hit him with this vicious clothesline, and Strowman was dominant. He broke up the world title match earlier in the night on the Raw side, or Universal title side. And I got to tell you, it was awesome. So I was okay with Strowman getting eliminated by Corbin, but you really did miss all that build of Strowman interacting with Lesnar, Goldberg, and all those other guys. Fine. I was okay with that at that point because that was big, right? That was a big deal.
You know what? You know what? As they built Strowman up, it almost gives Corbin a nice rub to be the one to take out Strowman. It's like you have 5 people.
I understand what you're saying, though, Vic, but it is possible and plausible that Braun Strowman will never have the opportunity to go in the ring with Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, or Undertaker again. I mean, the shelf life on Undertaker or Goldberg, I would not be surprised if after WrestleMania, Goldberg or Undertaker is never in a ring again. So you just lost that opportunity forever. I don't like.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, maybe WWE is realizing, hey, you know what? Strowman isn't quite as ready for action as we thought he was. Which,
And that's okay.
They have a great moveset. And I think putting him with somebody against Baron Corbin, whether to win or lose, this is an intriguing matchup. It's entertaining.
I'm with you. And to everybody who's listening, it's like, well, why aren't they covering Raw? We are, because Raw is all set up tonight from this Royal Rumble match. I mean, literally everything spun out of this, and we're going to put it all together for you in a minute. But, okay, so then Lesnar comes in and just kills everyone. I didn't like how when everyone got destroyed, they just laid there for 10 minutes. That was kind of weird. But, whatever. Lesnar getting one-on-one with Goldberg was an epic Royal Rumble moment. The fact that Goldberg replayed out the match that they just had, spear, jackhammer, see you later, Brock. It was awesome, and it was unbelievable. I had no problem with that. Here's where they lost me. You have just completely wasted Brock. Not wasted. You've wasted him in the sense of you kicked his ass. Cool. That's fine. At that point, in my mind, you're putting the jetpack on Goldberg and he's winning the Royal Rumble. Period. Even if it's to fight Brock Lesnar again, in my mind, humiliating Goldberg like that, Lesnar like that, he needs to win the Royal Rumble in my opinion. I love the square off between Goldberg and Undertaker. I'm like, this is awesome. Maybe this is our WrestleMania match. Maybe the blow off between Goldberg and Lesnar happened here in the Royal Rumble. Awesome. We're going to get Goldberg and Undertaker. Especially when Undertaker eventually was the one who dumped Goldberg out when Goldberg lost focus. And it was kind of almost like Goldberg looked a little human in this match. He definitely was gassed. It wasn't really the right venue for Goldberg. He's not made to be in a long Royal Rumble. So, whatever. It wasn't a big deal. After that, you've just completely lost me. Roman Reigns getting number 30, I thought was so stupid. Because here's my question to you.
I'll tell you what, I hated Roman Reigns getting number 30, but at the same time, I feel like Randy Orton pretty much got his entire rub. People would have been sort of shrugging their shoulders if it wasn't Roman Reigns who came out last.
I get it, but here's my problem with Roman Reigns. I don't care about what happened at the end. I care about that he's in the match, because here's the inconsistency of the booking. You put Ellsworth in the Royal Rumble. Okay, well, that was stupid. So you could take him right out of that spot, because he's been out of the Styles-Ambrose feud and all that stuff for 2 months now. He's been irrelevant. So why does Roman Reigns get an entry in the Royal Rumble? And we've seen this in the past where the loser of the title match, the world title match, later in the night gets into the Rumble and gets another shot. I have no problem with Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble if AJ Styles is also in the Royal Rumble. Why is Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble but AJ Styles isn't? I need to understand that.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, it's not consistency. It's Ellsworth needing to get. I don't even know why the hell they put him in there. They needed a comedy moment or whatever. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that. The only difference is Roman Reigns hit his match tonight, and it was that 20-minute match, so it was a little bit longer of a match. Good match for him. But then AJ Styles, I mean, he had a probably 35-minute grueling match with Cena, and his was later in the night. I mean, I think his match got done at like 9. They started the Royal Rumble like right after that or something. Maybe had a crappy filler match in between. But I understand what you're saying, and I do not like the inconsistency there. I understand.
And I have no problem at all Randy Orton winning the Royal Rumble. None. I just want to understand why, at the end of the day, you had all these big money guys in it, and none of them were in the Final Four. I mean, Jericho definitely belongs where he was. He had a great run, but to come down to Reigns and Orton I just don't understand when you had all this firepower in the Royal Rumble. It should have came down. You know what would have been awesome? Goldberg's just going to fight Lesnar again, right? Like, we know that now, right? How about Reigns eliminates Goldberg and then Orton eliminates Reigns? Why isn't that better? Right? Why can't Goldberg be the one to, you know what I mean?
He has another elimination like that. It makes him look, oh shit, he's actually going to win it. Despite the fact nobody wants him to.
But it's just, I mean, I just don't understand why. Like, Goldberg was really misused in a sense in the Royal Rumble because you just had him do the same thing that was already done. And then Undertaker dumps him out, which is kind of stupid because you're not going anywhere with that. And it doesn't build Undertaker's legacy more. Whoever eliminated Goldberg from the Royal Rumble after what he did to Brock Lesnar, you just put a jetpack up their ass. No, they put it on Undertaker, who has one match left. I mean, I couldn't have booked a worse Royal Rumble from the moment Baron. I mean, I loved it from the moment, or up until the moment Corbin eliminated Strowman. I mean, that was the last good thing to happen. It just, I don't understand. I don't understand how you blow that lineup you had. I mean, and even with the Seth Rollins thing, like last week I was critical of him not being in the Royal Rumble, but the fact that he showed up on the NXT show, which I actually watched, which I always watch anyway, and just crashed the party was awesome. So that, like, I get that now, and I think that was good. That was booked good. So I didn't actually care about the Royal Rumble. By the way, can I just throw something out there? And I know we're covering Raw tonight, and I want to just say one thing. Royal Rumble, yes. I wasn't so passionately against the way things played out until I saw Raw. Raw really made me unhappy with the Royal Rumble. Now, last year's Royal Rumble, I told you, I thought it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Go back to Raw Reaction last year. It's in our archive. I was literally masturbating to Triple H getting number 30 and winning the title. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Go back, listen. I thought, in my mind, WWE was unbelievable. I was so happy that, because I didn't know Triple H was coming back. I was the only person, and I was the happiest guy. But my point being is, I do want to put out one thing out there. John Cena brought his work boots last night, and I will tell you, if we take a look at the last 365 days, all these effing marks that want to say the I can kick out an 8 finisher match, Omega Okada, the number 5 guy in Bullet Club that was behind Carl Anderson, that match was better than Cena Styles. Please. The WWE is the major leagues. People, let me tell you something. Okada and Omega would give their left arms to have the exposure globally that Styles and Cena have, and what they did last night. So I don't care what anyone says on this network, because they're all marks. And that goes for you, Killer Kev. Styles and Cena, that was a better match. And that was better psychology. It was better ring work. It was better across the board than the number 5 guy in Bullet Club and the Asian guy that was abused by Samoa Joe in a shower on TNA TV. Do you want to respond to that, Killer Kev? I would love for you to.
Well, since I still actually haven't seen that match yet, I can't compare, but I will agree that AJ Styles and John Cena was a very good match. I don't know if it's match of the year yet. From what I am hearing, other people do believe that it will be a match of the year contender for sure.
Good answer. But you could take my sound clip, and I want you to play it for Thursday Night AMP. Would love to get the reaction to that. Anyway, enough of that. To Raw. I'm going right into it, Vic, and this is where I have a problem with the Royal Rumble. You got Goldberg. He's got one match left on his contract. You got Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar could have done something great in that Royal Rumble with somebody else. He could have... Let's just recap. WrestleMania, the first match, Lesnar decisively loses to Goldberg, jackhammer. Goldberg, Survivor Series, he decisively beats, jackhammers, humiliates, squash match Brock Lesnar. Goldberg does it again in the Royal Rumble, 3-0. Paul Heyman comes out and says, well, we're going to be the asterisk to your your big win, and you Goldberg have forever scarred Brock Lesnar's record, and everyone's gonna remember what you did to Brock Lesnar, and he'll never be the same. That's why we're challenging you to a match at WrestleMania. And he goes on to talk about how every superstar has a kryptonite and somebody that always beats them, and regardless, he scarred Brock forever, but Brock needs to get it right at WrestleMania. Why? Can you explain this to me? Why do they have to have this match again? Big Dick? Because this is you agree with me so much that you can't even respond to it.
I'm sorry, say that again?
No, why do we have to have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg again?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna, I think I said this to you earlier, maybe they're gonna have a 20-minute epic match, finish out this thing, and let Brock Lesnar go over and become the monster again, and he was 2 years ago and he beat Undertaker.
But he's down 3-0.
Yeah, but you know what? If he wins, it's, as far as I'm concerned, he won the feud.
How?
I don't know. I don't know. I just think that that's the way it is. We have not talked about the big day or the debut that we did get from NXT on the evening of Royal Rumble. What were your thoughts on Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger's debut?
Listen, it's cute, but he is the most overrated athlete in all of WWE. I think he's got great charisma. He's a cool little worker. But, I mean, this guy's an Intercontinental champion at best, topping out his career.
I was going to say,
oh well.
Negative at best. But the one thing I will say, and I'm very fearful of, this gimmick that he has, where everybody yells 10. I didn't watch NXT TakeOver, but during, I think it was their Japan TakeOver, or maybe the last show they had. I don't know if that was Scene 1 or somewhere else, but the fans were doing it like a yes chant. What a fucking nightmare that will be if that turns into literally like every 1, 2, and you hear yes, or you hear 10.
Well, it's contained to his matches, but I could definitely agree with you. I could see the wrong crowd on the wrong night doing it all night, and then it becomes the new what? It would just be so stupid. I hope you're wrong about that, because that could happen. But the fans like him. But anyway, I don't want to underscore because it's a big segment of the night, Goldberg versus Lesnar. But I don't understand why you have Goldberg for one more match, and you could give him the rub of rub, or give somebody else the rub of rub. I don't understand what Brock Lesnar gets out of it. He's beaten the freaking Undertaker and his streak at WrestleMania. Why does Brock Lesnar need to beat Goldberg? Why can someone else not fight Goldberg? You know what? Have friggin' Kevin Owens fight Goldberg and win. He'll be forever etched. Kev, am I wrong here? Why does Brock Lesnar need to win this match? Why is this happening? I don't understand.
I'm not sure why Brock Lesnar needs to win this match.
He's an epic legend. He has arguably the biggest win in WWE history on his resume. Right? Why does he have to beat this guy who beat him 3 times, squashing him 3 times? Goldberg has one match left. One. Forever. And this is what we're gonna get?
Let's look at it like this, though. First of all, Goldberg has one match left. Can you name a better opponent or feud for him?
Absolutely.
Okay, who is that?
Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, right there.
Okay, although all those old kids are going to beat up that old man Goldberg. Yeah, that's no. Just can't do that. Kevin Owens works a slower rate to begin with, and he's a great worker. He could get a great match out of Goldberg. Oh,
just the way he wrestles, it would tell that story where Goldberg wouldn't look like shit, and it would be a good match.
I'd agree, but I just don't see the money in that match, and really that's what WWE is looking at, is money. What's going to put asses in seats for WrestleMania? are they really going to buy tickets for Goldberg versus Kevin Owens? Not as much as Goldberg versus Lesnar, and that's the only real reason that I see them doing this more than anything.
Goldberg versus Undertaker, buddy. Why wouldn't you have that match? That is the legend of WCW versus the legend of WWE. That's the last match from WWE and WCW outside of Goldberg versus Stone Cold that hasn't happened. And then Sting Undertaker, of course, but I would rather see Goldberg versus
Well, you know me. I never want to see another Undertaker match again. And having Undertaker versus Roman Reigns really scares me.
That's there. You know what? Roman Reigns, and you've heard me say this here, he's just not a good worker. He's average at best.
And you know what? But it's not Roman Reigns that I'm worried about in that match. I mean,
I am though, because he can't do what Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, and all those other guys did and drag him around the ring. Or even Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar got a good match out of him.
Well, the main problem with that, no, Brock Lesnar did not get a good match. That was a horrible match. That was
a very good match. I totally disagree, because he had the submissions, you had the steel chairs, all the hardcore stuff. Brock Lesnar's so physical that it all looks good.
But you had to do that because of the physical conditioning of the Undertaker, and that's what worries me more than anything. It's not what Roman Reigns is going to do; it's what is Undertaker going to end up doing that gets himself hurt again.
You know what's sad? I mean, you saw the Royal Rumble. I thought that Undertaker actually looked out of shape. I mean, he had a belly on him.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Well, he looked more in shape this year than he did last year.
I thought he looked lean last year, and I know people were saying he looked sickly.
Yes.
I thought he looked good. I thought he looked ready to. I mean, I thought he was in a cardio shape to work a match. I mean, I really think Undertaker literally is coming for the paycheck this year. It's going to be bad. This is his last match, definitely.
I think he has worked hard over the last year to get in shape. Because last year he did look so thin and sickly and bad. It was just awful. It turned my stomach watching that match last year.
HBK shows up in the pre-show, arguably in the best shape I've ever seen him. Did you see him in the pre-show? He is shredded.
Yeah, but you know, more than anything, Big Show. Good grief.
I honestly, guys, I know I saw the picture with the abs. He looks sick to me. It looks like there's something wrong with him.
Well, I mean, it looks like something's wrong with him because we have never seen him in that good of shape before. I mean, he didn't even look this good in the best years of his career.
I don't think he looked good at all.
He didn't look this good at the start of his career.
WCW.
I don't think he looks good at all. I think he looks like there's something wrong with him.
Well, there's rumors that he may have gotten gastric bypass surgery done.
Well, that could be, because you do get a weird look. Like, if you look at Rex Ryan, although he looks better than when he was super overweight, you do get that weird, like, emaciated look to you. You can see Al Roker on the Today Show kind of looks like that. Those gastric bypasses, they may save your life and help you lose weight, but you don't look quite right when it's done to you. Because the skin doesn't contract the way it normally would if you work out and you lose the weight naturally.
Well, this is from what I understand. He's really pushed himself in the gym, and you can definitely see it from his upper body.
Absolutely.
You can see it from the upper body. And you can definitely see it you can see his abs. You know, you're not going to see abs because you got gastric bypass surgery. You're only going to see abs if you actually put in the work to make those abs pop out like that. He's on a very restricted diet, that's very nutritionally sound. He's quit smoking. That's probably the biggest thing there.
Huge. Good for him.
You know, he's completely turned his life around, and from what I understand, it's mostly because he's tired of feeling like a fat slob.
You know what? He wants to live a life. He doesn't want to die young like Andre the Giant. And that's, you know what? Good for him, man. You know, I think it's awesome. And you know what? If WrestleMania versus Shaq is his last match, you know, he's doing himself proud. You know, and I honestly, the crowd was really behind him in the Royal Rumble. So good for him. At least he's going out with a little dignity instead of, a year ago they were yelling, "Please retire," at him. I mean, that was really not cool.
I think that was more because of the angle that they put him in. Once again, the flip flopping. Keep him out of it. Quit flip flopping. I don't care if he's a face. I don't care if he's a heel in any given match, and you can flip flop him between it, but don't do the fucking crybaby thing where he makes one decision and then he starts crying about it because he made the wrong decision. Just let him be a fucking man.
Also, his money investing in strip malls.
You know what though? Like with Kane and the Undertaker, or Kane and Big Show, they always have this little run where they they beat the shit out of people, but they never win any matches. Let these guys have one run with tag team titles together. I think I could say, I mean, they're pretty much done and they should never be anywhere near the world title picture, but I'd retire those guys. I mean, give them a run in the tag team division or something. They were one of the most dominant tag team champions ever in the year they held the title in the mid 2000s. Big Show's going to get this match with Shaq. He's probably done. Undertaker's probably done. It appears he's going to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble.
You know what? I have to say about that, I'm not necessarily positive that's going to happen with The Undertaker, because if you look at what happened last night, or at the pay-per-view, Reigns got interviewed by Strowman, so Reigns ran out during Strowman's match and caused a disqualification.
But there's a show in between, Fastlane. I think Reigns will fight Strowman at Fastlane. And, whatever happens there, one of those two will face The Undertaker. And it's probably going to be Reigns, because Strowman didn't even interact with him in the Royal Rumble.
Hey, quick question. Speaking of the most dominant tag team champions in WWE history, did you happen to notice the signs at ringside at Royal Rumble all night long for the Ascension?
Remember the Ascension.
I gave a text, Tenza, about that. I definitely saw at least two. Remember the Ascension.
I love them, by the way, but what was up with that?
Are they from Texas or something?
I don't think so. I can go look, but...
Well, the Ascension won the NXT tag team titles last night, or 3 nights ago. They beat DIY for the titles.
Wait, the Ascension or the
Ascension Junior? The authors of Ascension.
The authors of
Junior. Now, what I like about the authors of Ascension is there's Big Fat Guy 1 and Big Fat Guy 2, and you can't really tell the difference about them except one guy has a tattoo. And basically, here's their move. You ready? Here are their moves. Okay, it's clothesline, body slam, punch, kick, clothesline, suplex, clothesline, punch, clothesline, double power bomb, hit the guys together, and then finisher, hold guy in place for clothesline, and that's the tag team. And they are like. Tell me those guys are not going to get fucking booed out of the building on Raw or SmackDown.
I don't think they do worse. Number one, I don't even think SmackDown has a tag team division right now. But I don't think they do worse than the Ascension.
SmackDown does have a tag team division. They have to give the guys more time. Let me tell you something. The Vaudevillains can freaking work. If you give them 10 minutes to work a match with somebody, they are good wrestlers, man. They really are. And they got bad luck early in that match. They had a big pay-per-view match with Enzo and Cass where that injury happened to Enzo, and that was a big match for them, and it really derailed them. The Vaudevillains can work their asses off, and I want to see more of them. So, I disagree with SmackDown doesn't have a tag team division. The thing is, like myself, the writers of SmackDown are just infatuated with Alexa Bliss, and they use all their TV time for Alexa Bliss. If I was rewriting SmackDown, I would eliminate the Intercontinental title. I would move the Intercontinental title to Raw and diss the U.S. title. There's only 2 hours, and they don't need the intermediate title. That title takes up 30 minutes of every show. That's where the tag team title should be.
Who is even the Intercontinental Champion right now? Is it Miz?
It's
Or is
Dean
it?
Ambrose. It's Dean Ambrose. And here's what's funny. I only know that because in the Royal Rumble they mentioned it. I still thought Dolph Ziggler was the Intercontinental Champion. Do you know that? I still thought he was. And
Wow.
that's 2 champions ago.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I have a public service announcement. Something I noticed, something that sort of bugged me out, something I'm going to put out there on the air for all of our listeners, millions of listeners around the world, and just my opinion. Believe it or not, I'm a bit of a conservative with some things,
Yes.
liberal with some things, but I'm a bit of a conservative with some things. My issue this evening, and I've been leading up to it, I think I wanted to mention it last week when I first noticed it, and I really noticed it again this week. What is up with these fucking tattoos on people's hands? Like, it's like Corey Graves was like the starter of it, and he had like literally tattoos on like the back of his hands, tattoos on like his fingers and shit like that, aside from the tattoos on his neck and stuff. But now apparently, and I'm almost positive about this, apparently Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens both have tattoos on their little hands. I don't
Well,
get this.
I can promise
I
you
get
that.
the fact that you're rich and whatever, but it doesn't make you look like more of a badass. I'm just afraid that some of our more misguided listeners are going to think, hey, you know what? I should get tattoos on my knuckles that say something because Chris Jericho has it or Corey Graves has it. Guess what? You're not a professional wrestler. You're not a professional wrestler announcer. No matter how many tattoos on your hands you get, you're still not going to be a professional wrestler in no way, shape, or form. And all it's going to do is going to cost you future job opportunities because there's people out there who, if you have tattoos on your fucking hands, they're not going to hire you. And it might not be fair. It might be over conservative, but shit, that's my 2 cents on that.
That was extremely passionate. That was extremely profound. I agree with you 100%. To add on that, you will never meet a CEO or CFO that has a tattoo on their hand with the exception of a CEO of a small tattoo shop.
Or maybe like Harley Davidson or something.
No. Let me throw another thing out there. There's only one time where it is acceptable to get a tattoo on your hand. If you are dating Alberto Del Rio and you put Poppy on your hand or finger.
Does she really get that? Oh my god.
Yes, she did, and I think it's absolutely acceptable because, you know, when it comes to Del Rio, there are no rules.
Good point. And actually, I was at a wedding last summer. I remember sitting there talking to my buddy who got married and his wife at the time. I said something to him like, "Hey man, it's like you should get a rather than wearing one of those stupid wedding rings around, you should get a tattoo of your wedding band on your finger." And he's like, "Why the fuck would I do that?" I'm like, "Why not compound one bad decision with another?" And we had a laugh about it.
Well,
and say he has not gotten that tattoo.
That's very funny. You know what wasn't funny was that I was very, very excited that Braun Strowman started the show tonight and demanded a title shot because Kevin Owens promised to him, and Mick Foley booked it. And I couldn't believe throughout the night how scared Kevin Owens in character was of Braun Strowman, how much he did not want to fight him. And at the end of the day, I was super excited for this match, heel on heel. I couldn't have been more pumped. Braun Strowman was absolutely killing Kevin Owens, and he was going to kill Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns is such a piece of shit for interrupting that match and getting Braun disqualified. That is all. Do you agree?
You know what? I disagree because, shit, just the night before, Braun Strowman interfered with his chance to win the match. It was turning into a pretty good match. I mean, as much as you say Kevin Owens was playing his chicken shit role pretty good, he had his moments where he had been backtracking. I don't think it was poor Uncle he loses that match.
Well,
I
guess they can't. They have a lot going on the road to WrestleMania, and you can't have a title change there. And, I certainly don't want Braun Strowman to be Universal Champion, but in the storyline, if there was ever a time where you were going to give him the title, it probably would have been there. But, it's okay. I just was excited. I was really excited for the match, to be honest with you. And the fact we didn't get it, kind of disappointed me. But it was cool we got it. It was cool they had the match on Raw. That was neat. And, these guys Strowman and Reigns are definitely going to fight at Fastlane. And that, I have no problem with that. I have no idea who's going to win that match. So that'll be a really hotly contested match. I would assume Strowman will win it. I don't know how, but that would be my thought. Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. Hated this non-title match. Sami Zayn just goes over Chris Jericho clean. Period.
You know what? I'm not totally against it because I think it gives Jericho could take a loss like that, especially if he's not losing the title. Zayn sort of needs wins like that every once in a while to show that, hey, you know what? He can win. He's a great technical wrestler. I mean, he can win in like a 15, 20-minute match. What I don't like about Zayn is every time the way he pins people, like, it seems like at some point in the pin, he's pumping his fist like he's celebrating or pointing in the sky like he's it pisses me off because it's like, dude, you're a face. You're not supposed to be showboating. You're not supposed to be doing it. You just need to fucking hold that person down. And he gets like a lot of like kickouts on tube where he's like pointing in the sky or pumping his fist or something as he almost gets a 3 count.
Well, specifically on the Blue Thunder Bomb, which he's never won a match with in WWE. Like, dude, stop celebrating. You're never going to win with that move.
Yeah. And then when when that person kicks out, he has a look on his face of, like, oh my gosh, can't believe it happened. Like, look of like, I can't believe that shit, and like just starts to reach his arms out in every direction. I'm like, it's like you look fucking ridiculous doing this shit.
Well, yeah, I agree. I'm actually for the first time in a long time being somewhat negative on the product, and I hate to do this because I love WWE so much. I just don't like some of the things they're doing right now. Look no further than putting the tag titles on Gallows and Anderson. I mean, what is that? What is that? These guys are as cold.
What I hear has a really hot Asian wife.
Dude, listen, I don't care about that. Gallows and Anderson are as cold as I've ever seen a person or team coming into a title match. I am just floored. They beat Cesaro and Sheamus, and I'm even more floored that they called Bayley a nerd on Raw. I mean, they're idiots. Dude, I can't stand Gallows and Anderson, like, in this character. They just ruined them. Like, they're like comedy heels. Like, dude, come on. And Gallows, like, you know how, like, when someone's selling you something, like, by the way, I think Anderson's amazing on the mic. And I said that last week. I really like Anderson on the mic, like, in the booth. He's incredible in the booth. Not maybe on the mic doing an interview, but the guy's made to do ring announcing. Let me just throw that out there. But, when someone's selling something to you, you could tell that they're in, like, what I call sales voice, or they have radio voice. Like, it's not really their voice, but they're, like, pretending. Gallows, anytime he's cutting a promo or is getting tough with somebody, it's so obvious that he's pretending to be a tough guy and using, like, a fake voice. I hate that. I don't like that. I don't like when I can tell by your intonation that that's not your real voice. So lame. So lame. So lame. Anyway, that's all. That's all I have to say about the tag team division. Do you think, here's what's funny. The Raw women's division with 8 women has put together just an incredible show. SmackDown women have done a good job too, but there's only like 6 of them. You're seeing the same thing with the tag team division on Raw and SmackDown, and to your point, neither division's really delivering. That being the tag team divisions. Do you think the tag team titles should be, and the tag division should be on both shows, consolidated, and or the same for the women's titles? Think about it. Wonderful. I actually think the women's titles are fine on their own shows. And I think Raw has delivered in every way. However, in the tag team division, maybe that title is exclusive to both shows. And you say, okay, well, your tag team champions can be on both shows. and they will defend against 2 different sets of people that are exclusive to Raw or SmackDown. Any thoughts on that, Vic or Kev? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I would say that you guys love my idea so much that you would do that, and that makes sense to me. So that's just my 2 cents. I would have 6 tag teams on Raw, 6 on SmackDown like they have it now, but I'd have a traveling tag champion that could be on both shows. I would solve all the problems, and it would give the depth they would need in the tag team division. There's just no need to have 2 sets of titles for 12 teams. In the women's division, they defy what you need. I mean, they could make 14 to 16 women extremely interesting and make 2 titles fun to watch and be chased. And you couldn't pick 2 better champions than Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, who have delivered in every single way. Specifically Alexa Bliss, but I don't want to take anything from Charlotte. And it is clear that Charlotte will probably be facing off against Bayley rather soon, which is cool. Charlotte went over Bayley clean at Royal Rumble, but Bayley gave it a good fight. Charlotte was pinned, however, in a 6-man tag, a mixed 6-man tag by Bayley tonight. So that continues that feud. So I think more to come there. With the women's division, Nia Jax continues to torment Sasha Banks. She beat Sasha clean in the pre-show at Royal Rumble and then beat the crap out of her on Raw, so much so that the match got stopped in a rematch they had tonight. So Nia wins 2 nights in a row, and Bayley comes out to stop that too to save to save Sasha. And you could see that there's a little dissension between Sasha and Bayley too, because Sasha wants to do it on her own. So they're setting up a lot of things in the women's division. Classic storytelling. Super cool what we're seeing out of the women's division. If you're not down with the women's division, there's something wrong with you on both shows, because it's some of the best writing WWE's had in a long time. You look at the La Luchadora, Mickie James stuff, as stupid as the premise of it is, it works. Alexa Bliss brings back the forgotten Mickie James, who's got an axe to grind with the world. And Charlotte, undefeated in 16 straight pay-per-views in title matches. I mean, all these stories are just unbelievable. I mean, the women's division really, it's been a real joy to watch. And you know what? Ciara Reed, who used to be on our airwaves here, you know, she saw the potential of a lot of these women. She used to come on these airwaves and talk about all, like, you know, if I had booking, I would have Sasha Banks doing this and that. I didn't even know who they were at the time and what the hell she was talking about. But you know what? She was right. She was right about all the women stuff. And I was so against the divas. I so could not stand watching women's wrestling 3 years ago. And I truly believe it is either the best part of the show or tied for the best part of the show on both Raw and SmackDown. So, super testament to a great group of ladies that are putting on great shows. And I'm not talking about Nikki Bella and Naomi and the ones that have been there. I'm talking about Becky Lynch, talking about Sasha, Nia Jax, Bayley, Charlotte. You know, they've just delivered.
It's looking like a freaking monster.
Welcome back, Vic. I was just talking for 20 minutes. I don't know where the hell you are, but welcome back.
No problem, man. You know, I did have a question for you, and
yeah,
we
sure.
haven't seen this in a while. One of your favorite wrestlers going into late December, early next year, the Brian Kendrick. What has happened to him?
Yeah, man. You know, I don't know where he's been. I mean, he's been on 205 Live like twice in the last 4 weeks. I want to say he lost to T.J. Perkins, but he beat someone else. I think he beat Lince Dorado. I don't remember. It might have been, or I might be flipping them, but he's been 1-for-1, but he just doesn't have a storyline right now at 205 Live, and that's unfortunate because dude, the guy's best thing on TV. But I think you know, with 205 Live, they recycle the guys. Like, you know, you're not always in the main storyline. Like, you know, they kind of have Cedric Alexander in the back. They have Tony Nese in the back right now. Yeah. I think Kendrick will be back shortly. I just think with Neville being such a dominant heel, they're just not utilizing him at the moment. I was actually surprised Kendrick wasn't in the Royal Rumble. I thought he would be. I was not surprised Jack Gallagher was in the Royal Rumble because he's been so hot. I would have thought they would have put Kendrick in it, but not a big deal. I think Kendrick's there and he'll be around. Not concerned. I know WWE likes him, and he's trained. Eva Marie's trainer, and they like him, and they've had him on NXT for a month or so before all this cruiserweight stuff. So you know what? He's good. He's a good man.
Interesting. So now we have not talked about the end of Raw, have we?
What happened at the end of the Raw? Why don't you talk a little bit, since I've dominated over the last 20 minutes?
Well, basically, leading up to the night, Stephanie called out Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins basically, when they were in the ring together, said, hey, I'm going to show up at board meetings. I'm going to show up wherever. I'm going to show up at your family's house, and your daughter's going to answer the door. Really, borderline threatening. But, look, it's like I'm going to get a fight, or I'm going to bring a fight to whoever I have to. So, anyway, after a whole segment, Stephanie promises, hey, you know what? Triple H could be here later. You can hash this out with him, and it's going to be resolved. So, end of the show, overrun for about 11 o'clock. Get Triple H coming out there, out to the ring. He starts going through his creator, not a destroy, or creator, and I can destroy you, and whatever. He's just going on this little spiel. Took his jacket, tie, whatever off. Really looked like a fight. Invited down Seth Rollins to the ring. And it was interesting because there was something I caught in what he was saying was I teach at WCW to create another one of you or something. Not WCW.
Yeah. I like that. NXT to find the next Seth Rollins.
At that point, I'm like, what? It's like, I said it. Wait, out. I'm like, you know what? Samoa Joe's going to be running here. I just had a feeling. He's going to be next. What's that?
You knew that?
I had a feeling the way he phrased it. I'm like, all right, that's interesting. And then he went back and then he said something else where I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe it is just going to be Seth Rollins and Triple H. You know what? I mean, it's whatever. It's decent for a blow-off feud, but I sort of when he was coming out, I'm like, okay, it's like this could be interesting. Let's see what happens here. But I could definitely see somebody else coming out. And then, sure enough, right as he got to the ring, Samoa Joe attacked him and laid him out pretty good.
Yeah. To your point, brother, I didn't see that coming, but the way I was kind of wondering why he said all that, but it actually makes sense now.
Yeah, there was a little point in there. I'm like, you know what? It's like it's gonna make sense if he comes out. And you know what? This is actually better than having I complained about it when Roman Reigns came out at number 3, and I understand what they're trying to do there. You know what? It makes Orton that much more appreciated just because Reigns came out. But at the same time, and the big rumor was getting what's his name out there in the match, Samoa Joe out there in a Royal Rumble. Where unfortunately, no matter how much you want to rub, he's not gonna become the new guy who wins. He's not going to be AJ Styles only winning the Royal Rumble or anybody else. So I sort of like them holding him back to have his first real feud with this. Because his matches started like, oh wow, what a debut. He had a 20-minute in-ring time at the Royal Rumble, eliminated 3 people. That's not a good introduction. Good introduction is when he fights Seth Rollins, probably the backwards Backlash pay-per-view.
Well,
this pay-per-view coming up a couple weeks before, a month or so before WrestleMania. But at the same time, I don't know who is Rollins going to go through Samoa Joe to get to.
Probably, but I don't think it'll be decisive. But I love this, and I know there's some people that are like, why is Samoa Joe Triple H's stooge? Dude, Samoa Joe is getting incredible rub here. There is no downside to being. I think this is awesome for Samoa Joe. He's basically put in the main event without being forced.
Treatment.
But he's being put in the main event without being forced as a hired hand of the creator of NXT. It makes all the sense in the world. It's good storytelling. And the relationship is there between Triple H and Samoa Joe. He's the one that signed him. Love it.
as heelish as he was the other night, people still love him. They're so thrilled to see him. Like they'll still boo. They'll boo like somebody like Roman Reigns out of the fucking building. They're thrilled to have Samoa Joe in there.
Yeah, it works. I mean, I have no problem with it. It works well.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the best. He's almost saying, I want to say like the Kevin Owens treatment, where he's going to have 40% of the crowd. Unless, I mean, he could probably freaking drown little puppies or something. And he can still 40% of the crowd give him, like, the fucking go to business for yourself marks. He still has him eating out of his palm of his hand.
I do find it funny how everyone's turning on the internet marks and, like, everyone thinks the marks suck and are ruin wrestling. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate how much everyone hates the marks. The internet marks specifically. AKA the smarks. Anyway, that's, one other thing I want to point out. Did you hear about this Randy Orton incident? No?
Which Randy Orton incident?
The moron that went up to Randy Orton at the gym while he had his headphones on.
Yeah.
That wanted an autograph. Can I tell you something? Having been someone that, you know, spent 10 years of my life in a gym, if I have my headphones on and you attempt to talk to me, I'm going to be like, what do you want? I would literally pull my headphones and be like, what? That's what I would say. And the fact that he even gave the guy £1 and said, what's up? And, you know, that to me was beyond being nice. And for the guy to hound him for an autograph and then take a picture of him, that's creepy, weird, and that guy's lucky Randy Orton didn't kill him. You people have to realize that just because you think they're a public figure, it doesn't mean you can interrupt their dinner or their workout or their personal life. It's one thing if they're walking through an airport and they're not distracted, but if somebody is working on their body and their job is to be a pro athlete, they're actually working. And if you came up to my desk while I'm in the zone working my deals and doing what I do, boy, would I have a problem to get my autograph or to ask me a question. I don't blame Orton. He did nothing wrong here. That guy's lucky Orton gave him as much respect as he initially gave him. People got some nerve, man. People have some nerve. Like our co-host that falls asleep on the air, who has narcolepsy. Anyway, Killer Kev, I want to thank you for having us on the air tonight. Before we go, is there anything you want to plug?
I'm going to plug the episode of the Wrestling Nerdcast that we just recorded a little bit ago. Tonight's guest was Vinny Vane, noted independent wrestler, many years throughout the Midwest and the East Coast. He is now the owner of the new NWA Mid-Atlantic territory. And he came and talked about a little bit about his career, but mostly about the things that he's doing now that he's a wrestling promoter within the National Wrestling Alliance and why it was so important for him to become an NWA affiliate. So, good interview, lasted about an hour. I absolutely encourage you to tune in and take a listen.
That sounds very interesting. I think I would like to hear about that. Does that guy know Jordan Garber, by the way?
He might. I'm not sure.
Did we learn anything new this Thursday night about our friend Jordan?
No, not really. He was on just long enough to give his Royal Rumble predictions, and that was about it. He is apparently in the middle of moving into a new snake pit.
Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. That's cool. Good for him.
And, of course, you can always find Jordan Garber on Twitter and Facebook and wherever. He's always looking for somebody to come and chill with him.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.